Hello and welcome to today's video as we cover KT versus T1 outright, touching on a couple different things here, as well as recapping kind of what we've talked about throughout the week roll by roll. First, we have kill participation, gold share, damage share. I think these three stats are very indicative of how these teams play and how we may be able to see a little bit of differences, but also how similar the teams end up being, at least based on resources and team fighting. We have what they ban and what's banned against them, and then down here how often they play these champs, just outright total games played on these champions, which champions may be contested, which ones they don't even bother playing. That is a thing. But first, let's talk about these key, very broad stats. First, we have kill participation. You see that there is a commonality here that the mid laners are very involved, as well as the supports for these two teams, both 80, 75, 79, 76. However, when we look at KT's kill participation, Perfect is kind of on an island at 57% compared to everybody else around 80. So it's clear that the team fights away from Perfect. Perfect's more of a solo dolo top laner in today's modern League of Legends, at least in this meta, right, at Worlds. Obviously, he is prevalent in the majority of the kills at 57%, but it's not nearly as high as what is nearly 80% for everybody else. But Cuz is not necessarily the driving force for this team as much as it's BDD and DuckDom having slightly higher kill participations, in part due to possibly solo kills, 2v2 kills, and just getting around the rift in a meta that has Talia and Ryze very prevalent in it, and it's evident over here. These players are playing these champions. They're going to create and make things happen. Galio, I'm sure if we look closer, is also listed in somebody's champion pool, if not multiple players on this board. In terms of T1, 61% is similar to Perfect's 57%. However, what's interesting is Owner at 66%. So clearly, Owner is not driving the bus for this team at this event. It is between Faker and Keria, who are going down on the bot side of the rift and making things happen. Either Keria is going mid or Faker's going bot. Owner more so maybe, if you really think about it, maybe he's farming to 6 more often. Maybe he's playing more carry-oriented junglers, or he's not finding an opportunity quite like Cuz is. We saw T1 kind of ham up at times. We saw them, 4 strakes very recently in one of their series. So the fact of the matter is, it's important for them to try and take objectives. And maybe that's where he's giving up kills, and that is the trade-off you can do as a jungler, as long as you are affecting the rift in some way, shape, or form in the early game. Now, clearly, bot side of the rift, we talked about it the last 2 days. They're very aggressive. Keria in particular. Damage share is evident of that, but also we saw the solo and 2v2 kills of these players over their careers against each other. I expect the bot lane duos to really go at it tomorrow morning at a high level, and we're going to see if that ends up determining this series. A lot of people want to say it's going to be mid, it's going to be Faker, BDD, Cuz, Owner. With how aggressive these 2v2s have been over their careers into each other, I do wonder if that's going to be the deciding factor. Somebody is going to get ahead of somebody down there because they're going to duke it out, and then that can be carried into the mid to late game and win the game. In terms of gold share, very similar resource allotment. Things are not all that different between these two teams when it's all said and done with gold. We see barely a 1% difference in the solo lanes. These teams are approaching the rift very similarly in farm and just frankly, who's getting kills. And sometimes that's luck and happenstance, and sometimes that's purposeful. In terms of damage share, so you see DuckDom at 32% here. That's huge. DuckDom is really hard carrying this team in damage. Some people want to say, well, he's not carrying. Well, he's dealing the damage. Okay, and people can carry as a facilitator, as a playmaker, as I mentioned in BDD's video, in the BDD versus Faker comparison a couple days ago, because these two players are generally facilitators. We see it 24 and 26%. They're not the ones dealing the damage for this team. They may be setting up, they may be getting around the rift and making things happen, like we said with the Talia and the Ryze, but they are not the ones dealing the damage. And you can set things up all you want, but somebody's got to score. I mean, You can make a beautiful pass, but if the guy misses the net, what does it fucking matter? Right? So, in the end, Duck Dom is putting the ball in the net, essentially. Guma as well at 29%, leading the way. He's just not as hard carrying as Duck Dom is. And I've had an argument the last couple days about Guma. In my opinion, he's had to take on a bigger role with this team. We look at 2023 World, Zeus had 30% of the team's damage. That was indicative of Zeus carrying the team and being the one that had to score. Whereas Guma, not so much. In this iteration, Guma has to carry. And this is not glazing Guma. The fact of the matter is, he does have to do it. Otherwise, this team doesn't win. So far, I mean, Faker could MVP it again. He was MVP at last World as well. Of course, we got people playing fuck around outside. So, that's the thing. At support, big difference. You've got Peter and Carrier. 7%, 10%. That's a significant difference, 10%. We went over it yesterday. Carrier, 1.13 damage divided by goal. That is higher than anybody had going into this event, and that may be the highest support of the season in general. He's very aggressive. He's going to pack a punch. His champion pool is indicative of that, and he makes a difference in that way. Peter, on the other hand, is going to facilitate. He's going to be more traditional, and that has value as well. Both players very active in the vision game. Carrier doing much better at this event than he did all season long. But that 10% is a thing here. That's why I expect that bot lane 2v2 to be very active, because Carrier has shown at this event he is going to get his damage in. And if they can get ahead in the early game in the 2v2, it's going to be smooth sailing for T1 in my opinion. It's up to Peter and Duck Dom to kind of limit that. Now, in terms of banned by, KT, 6 most banned champions: Yunara, Kiana, Alistar, Nico, Aurora, and Vi. T1, they ban Yunara, Orianna, Azir, Sion, Trundle, Ziggs. And then who's being banned against them? Nobody wants to play KT's Azir, Ryze, Poppy, Wukong, Yunara, Sivir. And against T1, people are banning out Bard, Azir, Poppy, Caitlyn, Nico, Talia. So, that's the thing. And they're color-coded based on role. Some of these champions are flexes, Poppy in particular, and we'll talk about that. But both teams ban Yunara. Neither team has played Yunara. Now, against KT, people are like, hey, Duck Dom might play Yunara. We're going to ban it. But against Guma, they're like, fuck it. Doesn't matter to us. He's not playing it. So that's something to think about, that KT may not have to ban Yunara in this series, and that allows them to ban something else. In terms of Kiana, I mean, KT ban it. Both teams have played it once. Maybe we'll see it in this 6-game set. Alistar, very contested pick. 5 total picks between these two teams. You see Alistar's banned often by KT. No one really has it banned against them, but KT do ban it. They do play it. So I expect that to come to fruition. We see Nico, a common pick 6 times between these two teams. A pick that is banned against T1, banned by KT. Aurora picked a couple times. Vi, banned by KT. Owner plays it, Cuz hasn't at this event. In terms of KT's, T1's bans, they ban Orianna out a lot. Obviously, Faker can play Orianna 5 total times. Orianna has been picked. Between these two, Azir, both players can play Azir. Azir is just is banned a lot. Picked twice. I expect it to be picked at this event, in this final. The deeper the series goes on, that is a thing. Sion 3 times, Trundle twice, Ziggs twice. Guma, not a big Ziggs guy, but he did play it. In terms of against, we have Azir, we have Ryze. I expect both players to be able to play the Ryze. It's going to be a contested pick. Poppy, although it's in light blue to indicate support, it was picked by Cuz in the jungle. It is a triple flex. Wukong, a very contested pick of this event by everybody. It's been picked 5 times between these two teams. What else do we have here? Anything else? Caitlyn. Duck Dom has played Caitlyn 3 times. This is most played. It's one of Guma's signature champions. He's played it once. I do expect that champion to be contested and picked in this best of 5 and probably earlier on in the series. Get it out of the way. If I'm ducked on, I do play it because he has played it at a high level, and get it out of Guma's hands instead of wasting bans. But it does create a kill lane scenario in a 2v2. That is what it is. Like I've said throughout this video, that's what I expect this to be, a bot lane skirmish heavy series. And then Talia 4 times, like I said, Nico 6 times. Nico's going to be a very popular pick. Talia's going to be a popular pick. I expect these champions to show face, and we'll see what the teams do with them. The mid that can get around the rift and make things happen more, likely to the bot side if we look at the kill participations, should be able to make a difference. Cuz is more active than Owner so far at this event in terms of kill participation. Top side is on an island. On a weak side situation, Doran should outplay Perfect. Doran is better than Perfect in a weak side scenario over his career. I think he also offers more of a carry threat, just based on Doran's history. Is Doran Zeus? Absolutely not. But I do think he offers a little bit more of a weak side option than Zeus does. And in this format, that's what's coming to fruition here. That's why T1 are in the finals, because Doran's able to take on a 19% damage share and it not be a big deal, where I think Zeus really wouldn't have fit into that role on the team quite as much. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.